What is going on, Herd? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in to another video. Today's going to be a fun one as we dig into the top 10 rice burners of GTA 5 Online. Just a quick disclaimer before we get started with today's video. This is an opinionated video. All of my top 10 videos are. My top 10 does not mean it needs to be your top 10. I try to keep as many differentiating factors in account as I possibly can. However, my opinion is going to differ from yours. Make sure you leave in the comments below any vehicles that you think should have made the list. Also, for those of you that don't know, I do have a second channel, Dipstick TV. Go check that out. Link will be in the description. We got car shows. We got the snowmobile getting fixed. We got a lot of different stuff happening over there. Definitely go check that out. I appreciate any support I can get over there. Without further ado, let's get directly into today's video. I think it's really important that we discuss what exactly we're looking at. What is a rice burner? What is a ricer? Well, all of those terms derive from rice. RICE, or RICE, is an acronym. It stands for Race-Inspired Cosmetic Enhancements. I feel like there's a huge misconception here with ricers and rice burners. I feel like a lot of people think they can only be Asian vehicles, specifically Japanese vehicles. I feel like a lot of people think that a lot of the tuners out there are actually rice burners as well, or ricers, and that's just a big misconception. I feel like it's more severe in GTA, but it is still definitely existent in the real world. And with that, I feel like it's time we can actually start this damn video. Number 10, the Shyster Fusillade. The Shyster Fusillade, or Fusillade, however you're pronouncing this one out there, this is one that gets overlooked in a lot of different categories, but can compete in many different categories. We were not going to overlook it in the ricers category. One of those American fried rice classics. Is there American fried rice? Nonetheless, coming in heavy in the game since day one on launch at $36,000 if you're going to buy it new, or you just find it on the street for free. The Fusillade is modeled heavily after the Chrysler Crossfire. Yeah. What brings it to our list today is not that you can just throw a spoiler on there. It's not that you could just throw some rims on there. You got a full body kit. You got a carbon fiber hood you can put on there. It's a damn Chrysler Crossfire. If this thing with the big wang and the body kit ain't meat and rice, I don't know what is. Starting off our list, the old Fusillade. Number 9, the Ballista Compact. The Ballista Compact is one of those ones that I was really happy they added into this game when it first launched. And of course, the older the game gets and the more vehicles we get, the older and more outdated this car gets, and the less and less you see it. You know, this one really can't be overlooked either, because this is really starting to bring us into some of that fine Asian cuisine fried rice that we really like. The Ballista Compact is also a launch vehicle with us since day one, coming in at $42,000 or free on the street again. The car is modeled heavily after the first-gen Honda CRX. This is definitely more of a real-life ricer, one that is incorporated into the game, one that again should not be overlooked. There's not a ton of rice related aspects that you can add to this car within the game. It's not heavily riceable, but you know, you got the little hood scoop, you got the little wang in the back, you can lower it down, you can throw some little ricer wheels on there just like any car. But all in all, this one's more coming into the fact that this is the Honda CRX. This has the potential to be one of the riciest cars at your local car show. Beating out the Fusillade and coming in at number 9, the good old Ballista Compact. Number 8, the Maibatsu Penumbra. The Penumbra is another one of those vehicles that have been with us since day one. It was a launch vehicle. However, like the next vehicle on the list, both of these vehicles had updates that were released in the After Hours update. A $24,000 price tag will definitely get you a large order of some vegetable fried rice modeled heavily after the 2012 Mitsubishi Eclipse. There are some other styling aspects that come in, like a front bumper design that comes from the first generation Scion TC, and headlights that are similar to those found on the 2013 to 2016 Dodge Dart. The later added customizations for this car really bring it into that ricer lifestyle. Lots of new bumpers, spoilers, liveries, those things that really give us the capabilities of being full rice mode. With all of those upgrades added in, this vehicle can almost be a tuner. However, when it comes down to it, it's still a Mitsubishi Eclipse. This thing is a number 8, vegetable fried rice. Number 7, the Balokan Prairie. The Balokan Prairie, or the Balokan Prairie, however you pronounce this thing, another day one launch vehicle. However, like we stated, with the last vehicle, the Penumbra, we got some new customizations released in the After Hours update. This car's going to run you $25,000. It's definitely a little veggie fried rice with some spice, if you will. Just a little extra in there. And of course, that order is going to get you something that looks and smells a lot like a second generation Honda Tiburon. The Prairie and the Penumbra are both vehicles that I actually really like with these upgrades in there. But a lot of these upgrades that they added, let's be realistic, guys, these are ricer-oriented customizations. And let's keep in mind, this is a Hyundai Tiburon. This is not to be a tuner vehicle. You can get this thing free on the street and have it in your garage for almost the cost of nothing, which is going to bring us into the next vehicle. Number 6, the Rune Cheburick. The Rune Cheburik, or Cheburik, however you're pronouncing it, is going to be a hefty $145,000 of some new fried rice that really only the Russians know about. Released May 29th of 2018 on the Madrazo Dispatch Service Week event, you're getting a vehicle in the game that are a conglomerate of numerous different Lada designs. And I don't mean a Lada, I mean a Lada. One of those Russian drift specials and one of those very, very nostalgic cars over there in Europe, mostly Russia, however, you're going to run into some Ladas. And just by looking at this, you can tell already, it's not your normal everyday Lada. We got a body kit on this thing. We got a wang on this thing, okay? And the Cheburik definitely had to make its spot on this list. It made it all the way up to number 6. A little spendy, not your traditional order of rice, something new, but definitely still a ricer within GTA 5 Online. Number 5, the Benefactor Feltzer. The Feltzer is one of those weird ones. Can definitely 100% be a tuner if you build it right and you properly put things on this thing. Unfortunately, there's a reason it made this list. It has a very limited amount of customizations, and almost all of these limited customizations very ricey. The Feltzer, again, is one of those new types of rice that you don't often think about. The Germans put this one together, all right? There's probably sauerkraut in it, who really knows? Long story short, now what this video is about, for $145,000, same price tag as the Rune Cheburik, you're gonna get yourself a Mercedes-Benz derivative. The Feltzer is another one of those day one launch vehicles. And as I said earlier, it seems like a lot of these vehicles that made this list are launch vehicles. Maybe it was just the time and the era and where we were when Rockstar released GTA 5 Online. Or maybe there's more to the story, but we sure as hell got a lot of racers on day one. Number 4. The Karen Futo. Oh, goodness gracious. This is not a car I wanted to see making this list, but it was one that you just can't ignore. You can't ignore the rice when you smell it in GTA 5. And unfortunately, one of my favorite cars, one of the most nostalgic drift cars in the game, is one of your top 5 ricers. A cheap $9,000 price tag will actually start getting you into some chicken fried rice here, ladies and gentlemen. Another launch vehicle, but also seeing new customizations released on the After Hours update. The Karen Futo is modeled after the 1983 to 1987 Toyota Corolla 11 Coupe. There are some small parts and some paint job aspects that are based around the 1983 to 85 Nissan Skyline D30 RS Turbo. However, we know this car in the drift world to be the AE86. All of these facts aside, you have big wangs. You have a pretty cheap wide body kit that maybe, if you're lucky, adds you 2 inches to your wheelbase if they actually would stand out, but of course, no. It's GTA, damn it. Getting the new customizations coming from the After Hours update really helped push this vehicle over into the ricer category. I will always see this car as a drift car. I think most of the people that know what this car is in real life will definitely view it as a drift car. It is called the Futo, after all. I mean, realistically, when you look over in Japan, you're going to see a lot of ricer-style AE86s that are on the drift track as well. A lot of the drift cars over there have a very ricer-based style. So not only is this a car that you can make into a ricer in the game, this is another one that can be pretty ricey in real world. And with this car falling in number 4, it's going to bring us into the top 3 of this list. Number 3, the Blista Conjo. The Blista Conjo, a heavy $580,000 order of chicken fried rice with some spice. And she definitely has some spice, if you know what I mean. $435,000 on the trade-in value if you do go about it that way. This car was released February 20th, 2020 within the Diamond Casino Heist update during the Blista Conjo week. This car is heavily modeled after the Honda Civic Type R EK9, which of course is one of the biggest ricers in the real world out there. The Civic in general will always be plagued by rice, with the ridiculous cosmetic upgrades that have absolutely nothing to do with going fast, but to make the car look like it's gonna go fast. This car rounded us up pretty high, and yeah, you can make it pretty ricey in the game, which is why it allowed it to come up high, but I think this car had potential to be 1 or 2 if we would have had a few more upgrades. Needless to say, there is still plenty that we can do to this thing, and still plenty that can't be overlooked. With it being one of those real-world rice extraordinaires, this vehicle could still be a tuner, in my opinion. However, like the Hyundai Tiburon, this is just a Honda Civic when it comes down to it at the end of the day. Number 2, the Maibatsu Penumbra FF. A $1.38 million order of shrimp fried rice. We're eating the good stuff, hell, we're almost graduating to lo mein at this point in time. The Penumbra FF was recently released in the Los Santos Summer Special Update on August 11th, 2020. It's primarily modeled after the second generation Mitsubishi Eclipse, but it does have front bumper styling from the Hyundai Integra Type R, and headlights that are inspired by the '95 Dodge Avenger Coupe. or even the Skyline R33. With other small styling aspects falling into this car, we know this thing to be a second generation Eclipse. Again, one of the most ricey vehicles that you're going to find in the real world streets. We get tons of ricer options with this vehicle. The one real debate with this and the Conja is that they're much faster vehicles than pretty much everything else on this list. However, GTA offers this, and it makes some vehicles much more ricey than others, and this car got really plagued with the ricer stuff. Of course, like I said, it's a ricer in the real world. I'm sure Rockstar really correlated in a lot of the real styling of the bumpers and stuff like that. I know they slacked on the spoiler with this thing. It comes with a plethora of other odd spoilers that are black or standard color. It leaves a lot of room for improvement on this vehicle, but again, almost all of the customizations on this thing are very ricer based, and this car cannot be overlooked. As new as it is, as little of action that I've gotten to do with it, I have built it up, I've messed with it, and it's a ricer. Not just any ricer, number 2 on the top 10 ricers of GTA 5 Online. Number 1, the Maxwell Osbo. Oh boy, homies and homettes, ladies and gentlemen of the herd, the Osbo. This is the most ridiculous vehicle out there, I think, in the game. $408,000 will definitely get you one of the fattest orders of shrimp fried rice with some spice out there. $306,000 with the trade-in value if you're going about it that way. This vehicle released in the Diamond Casino Heist update December 12, 2019. The Osbo is predominantly based off the Vauxhall Corsa C. It does have some rear portion styling from other vehicles. Now this is a special one, hitting so high, number 1 on the damn list here. Kind of a shocker to me, because it's not one of those vehicles that you would correlate with rice in the real world. So for this to take the shrimp fried rice with a spice trophy home, that's a big order. However, when you look at it, how do you ignore that? The ridiculous camber, the huge wang that sits on the top, the ridiculous body kits that you can put on this thing. This car is by far, without debate, your number 1 ricer within GTA 5 Online. The Maxwell Osbo is one of those hilarious vehicles in the game that GTA 5 really added in, and it's just kind of a laugh to me and a lot of people within the community in general. Not a bad laugh, a fun laugh, something a lot of us picked up and customized out to the maximum to make look as ridiculous as we could, and you know, that's kind of a fun spice in the game, particularly shrimp fried spice up. That's gonna do it up for the top 10 ricers in GTA 5 Online. Keep in mind, these are just my opinion. You guys can definitely have other opinions. I appreciate every single one of you supporting the channel in any way that you're doing so, tuning in, liking, comment, and subscribing, sharing the videos if you're sharing the videos. Sharing the videos are a huge thing, so if you're not doing that, please think about doing so. Also, my second channel, Dipstick TV, very small channel. Definitely need all the support over there I can get. If you guys want to see more of my real world mentality and lifestyle, you can definitely tune in over there. Link will be in the description. As always, guys, hope you all stay happy out there. Please stay positive, and we will definitely speak to you next time.